It is a beautiful day out. Yeah, there's a little bit of a wind out of the north, but it's North Dakota, Minnesota. Wouldn't be home if it wasn't a little blustery out there, and I'm sure we're getting by. Many of you out buying fireworks, appreciate that. We'll be checking in with Abby Miller. She is out at Memory Fireworks at the north location. I was at the south location on I-29 yesterday. I need to go back, though. A lot of you have either gone on my Twitter or on my Facebook to look at the caged rage. It still gets me, and it's only because once you're walking around any of these fireworks stores, if you look at just the package on the outside, they're usually cartoon. They're animated. For whatever reason, whoever designed this decided, you know what really needs to be on this? A real photo of a rooster behind a cage. So that's my go-to. I'm going to go buy that, and then I'll tell you on Tuesday how that went for me over this weekend. Somebody's wanting to know how much Hyde Camp spent on fireworks. Here's a little secret about Joel. He finds a way to get deals. His whole wardrobe, I have this on good source. His whole wardrobe has been provided to him, mostly free of charge, because of all the things he goes and does. And all of a sudden he's walking out with a new hat, the new shirt, the new sweatshirt. I have no doubt whatsoever that some of the fireworks that he was telling you to come on out and make a purchase at a great deal, he got the deal as well. But I'll see. He's probably listening. He'll storm down here, kick that door open any moment. Same goes for all you texting in about the meat dude. You send them in right now. I'll get to those in just a little bit here. Somebody asking about pepperoni. I want to ask about a couple of things. It's the 4th of July weekend, clearly. And if you remember, up until last week, I was the only one across the upper Midwest that thought the 4th of July was, in fact, on Sunday, and Monday was our recovery day. And no, it's so much worse. It's actually on Monday, and we're all coming back to work on Tuesday. The only thing that would be worse is if the 4th of July was, in fact, on Tuesday, because we're going to get through there. But people are probably going to be hosting. You got your grilling, you got the smoking, all that, so we'll keep that in mind as well. So if you have a gathering coming up at your place and you want to ask a specific question, now's your time to do so. And if you haven't purchased your meats, I'd encourage you to go out to Allsager Meats. They're our sponsor of this segment. It's under new ownership. Josh Allsager, he joined us a couple weeks ago. If you missed that podcast about what their focus and vision is for this out at Audubon, I'd encourage you to go to kfgo.com, check that out, or wherever you get your podcasts. So you can go on out there. It's locally raised beef. I mean, it's out at Josh's farm. He's raising the beef for you. Fresh cut steaks. Had the ribeye from there. Fantastic. The ground beef, fresh. It's all out there. And it's, at a pretty good price. So if you're thinking about where you want to go, get some good customer service and some great beef for your 4th of July festivities, Allsager Meats is there for you. A little bit later on, we got Tanner Cherney as well. I want to talk just a little bit about 4th of July gatherings as well, because I remember growing up, and now this is going to be that nostalgic flashback to the glory days, and I'm hoping that you're going to prove me wrong. Growing up in the rural parts of the state, you had the small town gathering where people would come from 30 miles around to that same town. For me, it was York, North Dakota, right? I mean, you had people from everywhere coming to York for the fireworks, for the music. They did it right. And I'm fearful that those days for any given small town are behind us. So I need you to let me know at 35270 what town and what the draw is. To tell me I'm wrong, that those days of the small towns really nailing it, the flatbed trailer in the middle of the dirt road in the back of an alley, or maybe on Main Drag where you had the band playing all night and they stopped so you could go watch the fireworks by the railroad tracks. Those days behind us? Or are you still kicking it out there? 237-5948. I'll take those and get some more messages in. But tell me where and what's going on this week, and we'll share that with the rest of the audience as well. We'll check in with Abby Miller out at Memory Fireworks. She might be back for Audibles. I'm hoping she's back for Audibles because I'm saving that seat for her. We'll check in with her out at Memory Fireworks. She's up in the north side, which is on I-29 north of Fargo. We'll come back with Spencer Worth, the meat dude, right after this.
Hey, thanks, guys. I'm out at Memory Fireworks, and I'm at the north location. It's right off I-29, exit 69, but they have a few other locations in the Fargo-Moorhead area. But I'm here with Thea. And Thea, tell me about your family packs.
Hi, yeah, we have a couple of different family pack options for every budget, whether it's, $75 with a lot of kid stuff, things that'll be a little bit more on the quiet side, all the way up to our, big ones around $450. The Dakota pack is a new family pack that also does include our big time, which is red, white, and blue for your finale.
And then I heard you talking about that you have an app. What's going on with your app?
Yeah, so we do have an app. If you download our Memory Fireworks app on any smartphone, if you come into any of our locations, you can scan any of our specific brands, and you can see exactly what you're buying. You can see all of our fireworks.
That's awesome. That is very convenient for all of our listeners. And then what do you have speaking of the family packs, what do you have for the kids specifically?
Yeah, we've got lots of options for kids. Some of our, most popular items. We've got our LED memory light stick, LED bracelets and rings, which actually have very long-lasting batteries and multicolored lights. So that way, when it's dark outside, you can still spot your kids in the yard. Also famous parachutes. We even have some for the girls this year with a little princess on the end. Lots of options for sparklers, the big guns, the swords, all of that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Thea. You can catch me out here at Memory Fireworks until 3:30. They have 4 locations off I-29 Frontier exit 60. West Fargo locations are off I-29 North exit 69, South Fargo exit 56. This is Abby with the Mighty 790 and 104.7 KFGO.
Doing well. We got a holiday weekend. We're going to go out and celebrate our independence, patriotic. We're going to be grilling. We're going to be blowing things up in the air, that is. I'm looking forward to it. You got any plans?
Nothing too crazy. Next week, I'm heading out to Montana, so might be just laying low for the 4th, maybe taking a fireworks show, cook some food, but not doing anything too crazy because next week is when I'll be doing all the crazy stuff, so...
It's none of my business, and you can say so. What's going on in Montana? Are we going to be missing you this week at this time? Next week at this time?
We might. I'm heading out to Glacier, so, kind of depends on cell service, just like the other week. So.
Well, I'll let you take a vacation, man. I will. I'm not going to interfere with that.
This radio show is a vacation for 10 minutes every Thursday.
That means we're not doing our job. Stick it to him at 35270. Good God, that one hurt a little bit. Here, let's kick in with what the audience wants to know before I ask you why I sweat when I eat meat. What causes meat sweats? Think about that, scientist boy. This question comes in. Question for the meat dude. What all goes into making pepperoni?
Pepperoni is just another style of sausage. It's usually fermented, shelf stable. So, you have your spices that are included with pepperoni, which is usually like paprika is what gives it the red color. Then there's usually some cayenne, some fennel, things of a kind of an Italian genre of flavors. And then it's fermented, meaning that an acid is added to it. Or not an acid, excuse me, a bacteria, a lactic acid producing bacteria. So when you cook it, it produces an acid, lowers the pH, dries it out, creates that nice pepperoni texture that I think of when I think of pepperoni. It's a dried product, and then it's shelf stable, and then you can recook it and put it on pizza and do whatever you want with it. But that's pretty much the basics of making pepperoni.
Very good. That one wasn't too hard for you. Now answer me this. We always talk about, God, I got the meat sweats. Yeah, you just had a platter of ribs and some sausages. Maybe you had a burger, a steak, it doesn't matter. You got meat sweats. You never had a sweat after eating a salad bar. What causes the meat sweats in a person?
I'm a meat scientist, not a nutritionist, remember?
Well, I thought the scientists transcended all. I thought, hey, you know, it's because of all the proteins in here. And when a man eats that steak medium, that causes a little bit of a reaction in some cellular level in which the sweats.
That is a great thought, you know, because of all the protein in the body working to break down that protein so you can digest it, causes, you know, your body to work a little more than it takes because we can't digest salads, right? That just goes in and leaves us. So because the meat's high in protein, takes a little work for our bodies to digest it. I don't know. I'm not a nutritionist. I know how to, you know, take a animal, turn it into a steak, cook it, and eat it. Past that, that's all I need to know.
I don't know. You're pretty convincing from what your explanation was. So I'm going to go with that. The reason why I asked, I saw it earlier. This is totally what got me sparked on this. Arby's and Old Spice is teaming up for a meat sweat defense kit. So, you know, maybe when you're on your way to Montana, you could go out there, buy this $60. You get a $15 Arby's gift card, 2 cans of deodorant, a sweatband, a gym towel, and a stylish sweatsuit covered in pictures of deli meat. So that's what got me thinking about that. So put that on your holiday shopping list, all right? Back to the text club at 35270. Tyler, question for the meat dude. What cut are you using for kebabs on the grill?
Kebabs are a tricky one because it really depends on the prep work that you want to put in to before you kebab it and cook it. If you're not doing any sort of marinating and you want to essentially just put skewered kebabs with a little bit of dry seasoning, you're going to want something that's somewhat tender. So I would go with in that aspect is probably something out of the sirloin. Relatively tender, really lean compared to further up in the middle meats, and that's going to create a pretty good kebab. If you're going to do a lot of prep work, you know, tenderize it through marination or different things like that, then you could probably even go something a little cheaper, like a top round or bottom round, either really anything out of the round. That's a little tougher, but as long as you're marinating it, it's a cheaper cut. You'll still get it tender through the marination, and the kebab meal should be just as good. So it kind of depends on what your game plan is on prep. Mostly just prep, yeah.
Sure. Another question comes in for you. 35270. You got a question for the meat dude, Spencer Wirt. This is brought to you by Allslauger Meats. Tyler, a question for the meat dude. What do you use as a binder for ribs on baby backs?
I don't use a binder, and I'm assuming what he's talking about is you see a lot of the guys that have YouTube channels or Facebook videos or whatever, they'll use mustard as a binder for the seasoning because mustard doesn't add flavor, supposedly, and it makes the seasoning stick. I've talked about this on the show quite a bit, and it's been a while, though. I'm glad this got brought up. So when you add salt to meat, first thing it does is pull out moisture on that outer surface, right? It'll even start extracting some of those surface proteins. And if you rub that meat in, that's why it's called a dry rub, or if you rub that seasoning into the meat, it will create a sticky surface. So when I'm doing baby back ribs and I'm putting whatever rub that I'm choosing to do that day, salt is in it because it's in most rubs. And if you physically rub it in there, you're going to create that kind of that slurry, that sticky surface that the dry rub will stick to. A lot of the pro guys don't like to do that because of appearance reasons. It doesn't look as good as if you use like a mustard binder. I'm going to assume that's the biggest reason. But yeah, I don't usually use a binder for my seasoning in ribs or any barbecue meat for that instance.
Very good. 35270. You send them in, we'll get to them. Yeah, I'd asked you a while ago about, let's say you got a pork butt, right? And you're wanting to smoke it. I've seen people cut diamond shapes into those before putting it in a smoker. And he said, yeah, and he gave a pretty good reasoning to it. And I'll have you repeat that in a little bit of time here. But how deep do you go in those cuts? I mean, we just basically cracking the surface to allow some of that smoke to get absorbed, or are we cutting quite deep in these meats?
You know, I've done it both ways. If you cut too deep, you kind of ruin the structure of the Boston butt, and you won't get as nice even cooking through the butt, so you don't get as nice pull at the end. Definitely on the fat cap side, you're going to want to get past the fat into the protein. So depending on how fatty your Boston butt is, you know, that might be a quarter of an inch or close to a half an inch. But yeah, you don't want to go too deep where you're ruining the structure of the butt. But you want to go deep enough to get into the protein so that you're creating a larger surface area for your seasoning to disperse upon.
Another question comes in, 35270. Spencer Worth, the meat dude. That's who's joining us right now every Thursday at this time. How come it is so hard to find a flat iron steak at a store?
That is a very good question, and I ask myself that every day. I think, this is just me speculating, it comes from a relatively cheap cut called the clod, which is the bottom half of the shoulder. That top blade, a lot of the times, which is the portion of the clod that's used to cut flat irons out of, at the big plants will be pulled off and sold on a restaurant basis, because flat iron is kind of one of those middle grounds where it's huge in the restaurants, not so much on retail, so they're probably going to pull it and send it to wholesale restaurant side of things instead of wholesale retail side of things. Now, that doesn't mean that we as retailers, I'm not technically a retailer, but we retailers can get them in and cut them. But I think it's one of those cuts that's, even though it's been around for probably 15 years, is still relatively new, and a lot of people don't know about it. So as a retailer, it's probably, you're better off, you know, switching that out in your case with something that people are familiar with that they're going to buy. So I really think it comes down to availability of a retailer getting it, and then two, taking a somewhat gamble on marketing as a retailer to put flat irons in your case.
Very good. Spencer, my man, I'm out of time this week. Appreciate all the people that have texted in some questions. You enjoy your 4th of July. Go celebrate hard, but proud to be an American. And then if we don't catch up next week, we'll do it again the following week, all right?
Sounds great. You too, Tyler.
All right, thanks, my man. Spencer Wirt, the Meat Dude. That brought to you by Allsager Meats. That's under it's a new name, but it's still out in Audubon, Minnesota. So right on Highway 10 if you're on your way to the lakes, or if you just want to get out for that country cruise and say, you know what, I need a pound of hamburger, I need some ribeyes, I need all the fresh meat that's locally raised beef. Allsager Meats is the place you're going to want to go out there. Great customer service, new ownership under Josh Allsager. KFGO News on the way. We'll check in with Rusty Halverson. We'll come back. Whatever you want to get off your chest, now's your chance at 237-5948 or 35-270. This is Afternoons Live on KFGO.
KFGO News, mostly sunny, 76. Fargo-Moorhead, I'm Paul Juergens, near 79 this afternoon. Carrington, North Dakota Police Chief Brandon Sola has been identified as the victim of a deadly motorcycle crash on I-94 in West Fargo Tuesday night. The State Patrol says a 36-year-old Sola was thrown from his motorcycle, which came to rest on the median shoulder of westbound I-94. He died at the scene. Sola was not wearing a helmet. He was appointed Carrington Police Chief in April after joining the department as a part-time officer. He was a native of Velva, North Dakota. Sola was married with 5 children. He was also a Master Sergeant with the Air National Guard in Fargo. He'd been a member of the 119th Wing since 2003. The Department of Veterans Affairs is responding to a coalition of local veterans who oppose plans to build an outhouse at the Fargo National Cemetery. United Patriotic Body says an outhouse, which the VA calls a vault toilet, would be impractical because it would have no electricity, plumbing, or heat. The VA says the vault toilet is a waterless, non-flush toilet that stores waste in a large, airtight underground container. It will be emptied and cleaned on a regular basis. But United Patriotic Body's Commander Jason Hicks says there's been no communication with the VA on the issue. Hicks says the veterans will go forward with plans to file a formal complaint through Senator Hovind's office. The $246,000 project includes the vault toilet, wind walls around the shelter, and an additional on-site storage building. North Dakota's Health Department has confirmed the first human case of West Nile virus of the season. An infected person lives in Richland County. They were not hospitalized. Amanda Bakken is tasked with surveillance for the virus in the state.
It's not unusual for us to have a case at this point in the year, but we do normally see our spiking cases in mid to late August. So typically there's only a few cases that take place between June and the beginning of August, and they start to pick up.
Bakken says it's hard to predict what kind of case level the state is likely to have at this point. They vary widely based on temperatures, humidity, and water content, but
North Dakota is typically one of the states that have the highest infection rate per capita. I'd say we're generally in the top 5 or 10 states. Last year we had 30 cases, 14 of the people were hospitalized, there was 1 death. So the last outbreak year would have been in 2018. There was, say, around 300 cases, which lots of things can influence that.
Bakken says everyone can take precautions to help prevent contracting the disease. She says the most important thing is to use repellents that are registered with the EPA and wear protective clothing outdoors, especially at dawn and dusk when mosquitoes are feeding. 76, this is KFGO News. This is KFGO News. A new Minnesota law allows people 21 and older to buy edibles and beverages that contain a limited amount of THC, the ingredient in marijuana that creates a high. Edibles like gummies and beverages can contain up to 5 milligrams of THC per serving and 50 milligrams per package under the law. 5 milligrams is about half the standard dose found in recreational marijuana in other states. Under the law, new THC products must be derived from legally certified hemp. But industry experts say 5 milligrams will produce the same effect whether it's derived from hemp or marijuana. Police in Sioux Falls used smoke bombs last night to disperse hundreds of people protesting the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. The police chief says there were a couple of arrests during the demonstration in downtown Sioux Falls. Those arrested could face a charge of failing to disperse and other misdemeanors. Officers used a loudspeaker to get demonstrators to move out of the street and onto sidewalks. Police in riot helmets held batons as they approached demonstrators and launched the smoke bombs into the crowd. Authorities in central Minnesota say a drone that dropped a bag of candy near a group of children was an ill-conceived effort to get footage for a social media post. The Benton County Sheriff's Office says investigators spoke with the drone pilot following a suspicious activity complaint, finding that the candy-dropping episode was part of a content creation scheme rather than criminal activity. The children were fishing when the drone flew out of the woods and dropped a bag of candy nearby. Partly to mostly sunny, Fargo-Moorhead near 79 for that afternoon high. It'll be clear overnight, 53. Sunny, 80 tomorrow. For Saturday, partly sunny. A slight chance of showers, thunderstorms. Also shower, thunderstorm chances on Saturday night. 82 in the afternoon, also near 82 Sunday. Another chance of showers, thunderstorms Sunday night. And also rain possibilities for the 4th, partly sunny. Chance of showers, thunderstorms, 82. Mostly sunny, 76. Paul Juergens, News Radio, KFGO.
Rusty Alverson's in the KFGO studio.
Hello.
Hi. We're talking about how nice people can be and how I say, no, not my friends, not my coworkers.
Wow.
Let me give you an example. Yesterday, we're talking about yacht rock songs because we're talking about, again, Boz Skaggs because he's the one-hit wonder that we only know because of National Lampoon's.
Oh, Boz has a lot of good songs.
Well, name one. Name another one besides Lido Shuffle.
Okay, I will have trouble with that.
Made my point. Thanks. But Eric Johnson, he's my producer. This is Rusty, obviously, he's part of our farm ranch. I'm Tyler Axton. This is Afternoons Live. He goes, yeah, except for all the yacht rock fans. And then for some reason, we started talking about boating clothes. And I can't even use the descriptor.
Boating clothes?
Yeah, like you've got
footwear specifically. I was trying to describe a specific set of shoes, and I couldn't remember their name, and I used the derogatory term for them. And Tyler goes, "I have two of those."
Yeah, I go, I own two of those pairs. At the brand, he goes, "Oh yeah, that debaggery type of shoe. That's the clean." And he goes, "Oh yeah, describing somebody that wears that brand of shoe as being one of those." I said, I own two pairs of those shoes.
I stand by the stereotype. It doesn't mean everybody that wears them does mean though that they do have that stereotype.
Do I fit that stereotype? People are saying, well, it all makes sense. So that's why when somebody's even trying to pass a compliment, and that's in my friend network, I instantly go, there's a hint of sarcasm somewhere in here.
Now, do you wear a sweater with the...
I do not own that.
I mean, Tyler is on record strongly for having an era of his life with a backwards, upside-down visor.
Yes.
Well,
with frosted tips.
We all
That's
go...
a very important part.
Go through things. No judgment. No judgment. Yeah.
Do you know that mullets are coming back? You're a mullet guy, aren't you? You had a mullet.
I'm trying to grow another one.
Are you?
Yeah.
How far are you taking those sides?
Have you ever seen Cat Stevens in 1971?
I can pull them up right now when you get the egg report for me. 1971. The internet's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I see. Oh, okay. Wait. Well, that also looks like there's a bit of a perm here. You're not going perm, are you?
Well, you know.
Well, okay. Hold on. If you do a well in a pod saying well, that means there's a possibility you're perm in this thing.
Okay, so we all do things in the 1990s.
Okay.
Business up front, party in the back. That's what I had for my senior pictures. So yes, I have had permed hair. Why are we talking about this live on the air?
Because it's live and it's...
Listen, we all have hair foibles that we prefer to not listen to. Mine went black one time. Did not look good.
That red
Only
back
once.
There basically took out black shoe polish and rubbed it down to his roots.
What?
Didn't work well. Didn't stick with it. Tried it. Just curious.
Speaking of sticking with it, I've never used Gorilla Glue in my hair.
What I would hope not. Oh yeah, there was a story that a woman did that
there was
once.
a story. Yeah.
Did you have to cut all her hair off?
Yeah, something like
that. But hold on, you deflected. I'd asked if you're going to be doing a perm again with your mullet you're growing.
Well, if I can.
It's a yes or no answer.
Well.
Okay. All right. We can talk more about this off there.
Okay.
We got some things to talk about here.
Yeah.
Perms take a lot of water, I'm sure, to get the moisture there, and there's been a lot. I don't know how. I don't
know. Anyway, let's talk about the U.S. Drought Monitor map. And in areas in North and South Dakota, the area of dryness greatly reduced. Now, Daryl Richardson, director of the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network at NDSU, he was on a webinar yesterday, and we talked about it during the afternoon, Tyler. But he talked about spring rains across the upper Midwest and the northern plains. Now, we've got a updated map on kfgo.com under the agriculture tab, Tyler. And, when you look at the west, especially the southwestern U.S., lots of red and maroon. And one of the things that stuck out during the updated map from the National Drought Mitigation Center and the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, they said in drought areas of Texas, white-tailed deer expected to have lower antler quality this fall in Texas due to the drought conditions.
Now, riddle me this. Why? You're not a biologist. I asked that's Spencer Wirt, the meat dude, saying, "Yeah, I'm not a
nutritionist.
Yeah,
I'm not
I'm
not a biologist.
Get me Doug Lear on the phone right now. Stat, North Dakota Game and Fish. I imagine it's got to be with vegetation, not being able to eat as healthy. I don't
guess
it's just who would have thought that antlers would have been impacted by drought?
Yeah,
somebody out there might know. 35270.
Yeah, but this was actually mentioned during the National U.S. Drought Monitor map and their report for the week, talking about antlers in Texas. And there are a lot of sayings in agriculture. Everything's bigger in Texas.
Is that an egg saying, or is that a slogan for this? One thing I noticed, and I'll let you go here, CBS National News. I had made this comment, and I hope that Too Tall Tom and others don't beat me for this, but it seems like maybe we got back into that pattern where at night we're having some weather events. I mean, we've had rain systems coming through at night. It's gotten hot, it's got humid, and that cycle's seems like maybe it's back on track, at least in the short term here.
Yeah, it woke me up last night, like a lot of folks, I'm sure. Just some of those storms that came through the metro. Yeah, yep.
Very good. Somebody out there answer why white-tailed deer's antlers aren't going to be as strong and sturdy because of drought. I'd love to hear you at 35270. Tyler, is it Birkenstocks? Birkenstocks with socks?
Oh.
No, it is not. That I do not own.
Does it rhyme with rocks?
Oh, they're Sperry's.
Oh.
What? What are you snorting about over here? They're a very high-quality, fashionable shoe.
And probably comfortable.
They're
that doesn't mean they don't
comfortable.
have a reputation.
Yeah.
I'm currently wearing Birkenstocks, so I get it.
Really? Are you?
Yeah, like it's okay. We can wear whatever we want. I just they come with a little baggage occasionally.
Okay, well,
This is a judgment-free zone.
have you listened to this show? 2 to 5 afternoons live. All right, Rusty, appreciate it. You come back next hour. We got audibles today too. Don't forget.
Okay, sounds good.
CBS National News on the way. We'll come back, clean up some more of these text messages. Whatever you want to talk about, I'm here for you. No guess until 3:40. That's when we'll check in with Tanner Trinity, Devils Electricity. Man, talk about Supreme Court. That's cool. January 6th, fine. Gas prices, all of it's on the table. I'm Tyler Axis. You got locked into KFGO Fargo.
Hey, thank
and climate in general, saying, well, if you're going to leave it up to a state to make this decision, and they think about just the vast different approach from Minnesota to North Dakota on this isn't going to be a working process. You have to have, in this case, the one size fits all approach, and that's not what the Supreme Court decided. So the EPA got slapped back a little bit. I know that there's people that are pretty upset about this, but I keep coming back to not necessarily just this decision or just not Roe versus Wade or the other cases that have been easy to point out and say, well, this is how this one's going to go. If that's the way the court's going to act, basically just going to the whims of political pressure, this is going to be a bad time. And I'm not the one that just necessarily had said that. Remember when the leak happened? The Supreme Court justices themselves said that. And part of this, they're saying that this is an activism. That was all in the 70s. Well, if you're in fact going back and now going the wild swing the other way, that is a form of activism on the court, right? Let me know if you agree or disagree. 237-594. You can text me at 35270. Going to get you this weather update from Too Tall Tom Schmansky. We're going to head on back up to Memory Fireworks in north side of Fargo. That's on I-29. That's where you can find Abby Miller. We'll check in with her as well right after this.
Hey, thank you guys. I'm out at Memory Fireworks, and it's the north location off exit 69 on the interstate, and I'm here with Thea. Thea, tell me about what you have for the kids this year.
Yeah, we've got lots of good options, from our parachutes to our poopy puppies to our sparklers, as well as our LED memory light sticks and LED bracelets and rings so you can spot your kids in the yard. We will donate $1 to Make-A-Wish for each one of our bracelets sold.
Oh, that's awesome. And what were the big things that you sold last year that you decided to bring back this year and just amp up?
Yeah, we've got lots of good stuff. Our Dakota Dreamweaver, backed by popular demand. That one is also great for a finale. It's a big cake with huge breaks and a double salute. We also have our Magical Unicorn, which is basically like a party in a box with lots of colors and effects. Our Exploding Rainbow Gone Nuclear, and Big Baby, which is a 500 gram with 10 shots and giant gold willows.
That's awesome. So if you're like me and I don't know what I want to get, but if I just come in and give you a budget, are you able to help me figure out whatever is best for me?
Absolutely. Yep, we can build your show from, small little ones all the way up to the big guys. We've got lots of options. We also have our memory app. So if you want to go ahead and build your show before you come in, you can even do that. You can view our, selection there on the app. Come on in and we'll, get you taken care of.
Perfect. And you guys are home of the 3 L's. Give me those, Thea.
Yep. Largest selection, lowest prices, and locally owned.
Perfect. This is Abby Miller at Memory Fireworks off exit 69 from the Mighty 790 and 104.7 KFGO.
In the second hour, we're going to be heading up to Devil's Lake, North Dakota. Ted Cherney give us a fishing report and, of course, let you know about the 4th of July activities going on up there. In the meantime, there's a couple of other items. I want to talk about affordable housing in this area. The whole Kmart development, they're halving how many that were proposed from 80 to, I think, like 39. We'll talk about that and how stupid of a reasoning it is. We talk about red tape often. This is one of those stupid red tape movements. We'll talk about that in the second hour here. But the other item that is causing some waves, and it's college athletics in general, and this last year has had such a shakeup in general, from name, image, likeness to the transfer portal. Now you're looking at college football getting another big shakeup. You have USC and UCLA poised to join the Big Ten. And the move, which is it's not done, but it's pretty close by reports. I know the Associated Press has picked this up as well. You think about the Pac-12, already on shaky ground when it comes to what they've been going on over there. There's this shakeup here. The Los Angeles market, when it comes to this. In fact, maybe we'll pull Derek Hansen in here in just a little bit to break it down a little bit. It would be just a boost to the Big Ten in general. So this Midwestern, the conference, all this, and all of a sudden you got this West Coast duo, what appears to be joining this. I don't know what comes next in college football or in college athletics. It just feels as though like this has been just such a weird, transformative year for a number of things. And we're just talking about beer at the Bison games yesterday. And so you think about that being, ground shaking here. But this overall, is, You got the Big Ten, the SEC with some of the changes there. Just if you follow at all any of this, it's something that we'll be diving into here in just a little bit. But locally here, the developments, we've been talking a lot about it lately because, well, there's one kerfuffle that happened up in North Fargo about housing, what was promised, what was not delivered as of now. There's going to be another project because that old Kmart down in South University where they had all these plans coming together about having 80 units for senior living. They're dialing that back to 39 units for this project. And if you look at it, I don't know that it's on the developer when you look at what the federal government requires and what they're not willing to pay for. We'll break that down in the second hour of Afternoons Live right here on KFGO. within the last day or two. The VIP section at the Eagles Hyde Park concert in London broke into a brawl during the band's performance of Take It Easy. Bunch of old dudes started swinging to Take It Easy by the Eagles at Hyde Park during their rendition of when the Eagles were playing over there. So I'm taking it too easy. In fact, we'll visit with Derek Hansen right after this. I see him walking down here. First, Paul Jurgens at the KFGO News Center.
Hey,
You know, I asked him to come in and talk about USC, UCLA planning to move from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten as early as 2024, but now we can't find ourselves to get past our frustrations with the bullpen of the Minnesota Twins, who are fast-tracking another loss.
Let's play this out. Let's go to the Big Ten first. I can't talk about the Twins right now.
I lost that. I'm like, oh, hey, it's 10, and we're scoring runs. This is good.
Yeah.
And then wake up and find out that they lost.
Yeah, it was bad last night, and the bullpen failing them today right now. So it's a tough deal, that is for sure. But no, quite a day. I mean, some breaking news with that, and I don't think it's a done deal yet. But
it doesn't sound like it, but it's close by the reports.
And, here's a couple things to go along with this. There's many ways. I was talking to a friend of mine, their family, big Hawkeye fans, and go to the games or whatever. A lot of alumni within the family, and just here you sit in the Midwest and you look at this, and it seemed like, as she mentioned, you go all the way to Rutgers. That seems so far away. Well, now you're talking LA here. I mean, that just seems like, and so imagine that trip going all the way from LA out to Rutgers. It just seems crazy to me. Obviously, this is a TV deal. This is about getting the Big Ten network out to the West Coast. You get the LA market and up and down the coast, really, because there's UCLA and USC fans all the way up to San Francisco and all the way down to San Diego. I mean, it's the Southern California TV market because you had San Diego and everything else with that. It's number 2 in the nation for a reason.
And
so
with that comes money.
Yeah, and that per subscriber fees for any type of cable outlet that you can get, whether it be Dish or streaming services, they're everywhere. So it's going to be a really interesting move here if they do this, because at some point geography has to matter.
That's exactly. I think that as well. You got the distance from college to college. It doesn't make sense aside from the money aspect.
Right.
As you're saying.
Well, that's what it is, and I think if this is not going to happen, I think what we could see here is you're going to see maybe it's just UCLA and USC making a power play for the Pac-12 to get their what together, because they haven't been very aggressive. They're not aggressive with their TV deals. They're not aggressive with their scheduling to get more exposure. I think they've been complaining that they get stuck out on the West Coast with these late TV times. So structure that in your TV deal. The other thing you can do is you shouldn't have been sleeping on Texas and Oklahoma. This is something that you should have done, is expand as everyone else is doing. Get yourself out to the central time zone a little bit more by going to those marquee schools. If you would go after a basketball school like Kansas, which takes up the Kansas City market, it really does. And then you get Oklahoma, which is a growing area, and obviously Texas, you'd have been sitting pretty right now, because then you have Texas and USC, 2 pretty marquee names in the world of sports, not just football, but really in the world of sports.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest mistake they made, is not trying to. The Big 12 should have been dismantled, and everyone should have been picking up the scraps of it a long time ago. And the Pac-12 could have done it, and they slept on it. And here they sit.
Look, and this would be such a big move. When I look at, and I made this claim before you came in here, you just look at college athletics in general, from name, image, likeness, transfer portal, the shakeup from these conferences. I mean, this has got to be one of, if not the biggest, transformative year for college athletics in our lifetime.
Well, it has been, but I think when Texas A&M moved to the SEC, that was a huge deal, because then then the SEC got into Texas, that big recruiting thing. So that was a big deal. And I think that really changed a lot of things. The Notre Dame part of getting into the ACC with 5 games, that really made the ACC not so much an Atlantic Coast Conference. It's kind of, it's trying to stretch into the Midwest a little bit with that. I think that, and that's another thing where I think the Pac-12 should have been aggressive with them, or the Big 12 should have been aggressive with Notre Dame. There's been a lot of dropping the ball, I think, by a few of these other conferences, where the SEC and Big Ten have been very aggressive, and they're kind of leaving everyone else behind right now.
Well, 2024 is the earliest, according to reports.
Right.
You're saying it could just be a power move?
Well, I think it could be. I think really UCLA and USC, if they're going to make this happen, they have nothing to lose, right? They can use this to get more power and influence the Pac-12 to do something, or the Big Ten is going to take them and take that West Coast TV market. I mean, that's going to really expand the exposure of the Big Ten to a nationwide conference, because I'm sure they're looking down at the SEC that just grabbed Texas and Oklahoma and saying, okay, you got a couple of brand names in the history of college football here. We have to do something to step it up a little bit. Even though UCLA hasn't been very good at football, and USC's been trying to get back to what they were when they were cheating back in the early 2000s, but that's what you're looking at right now.
Derek, I appreciate you breaking it down for me.
Yeah, and I just follow the money on this one, because that's what it's about. It's about per subscriber rates for the Big Ten network, so they can get on more cable TV outlets, the dishes, and obviously the streaming services that are popping up that they're trying to get on too. So
I know those streaming services, a whole game-changing method there as well.
Yeah, for sure. So meanwhile, what's going on behind me?
We top
they got out of it.
Got out of 9. So it's 3-3 and
1 out.
2 out now.
Oh, 2-0 now.
2 out now, but Twins were they had the lead, and then of course bullpen comes in. No idea who was on the mound at the time, but 3-3.
It might have been Thielbar. I don't know. It's just so. That's the one criticism I have. Rocco Baldelli, I think, has done a pretty good job managing, but he's got to figure out how to manage his bullpen better. And I'm not just talking about the Taylor Rogers trade. Just get everyone in their defined role, because this is not working.
Well, but is it because of lack of talent? I mean,
I think
do they have to? I mean, I know you're going to look and say, well, who's available? But I mean, is he doing what he's got to do because of the talent that's quite frankly in the bullpen?
Well, I think the fact, Duffy came in, and I think they're relying on him to be a guy, and he actually pitched well again today, where he had a tough early start to the season, but he's actually pitched well the last couple of times out and has gotten fixed. And of course, now they're losing their pitching coach from Wes Johnson. So
today, right?
So that's after today, he's gone, going down to LSU, so they have to make that adjustment too. So it's not an easy situation at all for the Minnesota Twins to figure this out. But I think Johan Duran is their guy. It's just too bad they didn't keep Taylor Rogers to have that bridge from the 8th inning to the 9th inning. They'd be really sitting pretty, because then everything else falls in front of you. And then maybe you have Tyler Duffy in a more confident position in the 7th inning. Instead, you have this herky-jerky. Let's have Duran pitch 2 innings, then he's not available for the next 2 days. So that's not working.
Well, and this matchup, Cleveland, Minnesota, 1-run games is what Minnesota's been losing by. Mm-hmm. And it's been late in the games of bullpens of these forces. We would be, I think, the last I heard, 10 games up if we just didn't blow these.
Yeah, Dick Bramer figured it would be about 9. After, but of course, now it would be 10 after last night's game, because I talked to Dick yesterday. And we'll play back some of that tonight on Couch Potato Radio in the 6 o'clock hour, too. So.
Very good. He come back in about an hour. We got audibles.
Yeah, I got to win audibles. Got to get back on the horse here and get going.
All right, well, I'll save that chair for you.
Perfect.
Derek Hansen hosts Couch Potato Radio. 6 o'clock tonight is when he can catch that, because the Twins, well, they're in action right now. We'll let you know when this game does wrap up. Right now, top of 9, 2 outs, tied up at 3. Messages came in about the Supreme Court choosing outcomes. There's another decision that they made today about election laws. I will dive into that. But first, I got to check back in with Abby Miller. She is out at Memory Fireworks on the north location on I-29. Abby, how are things up there?
Hey, thank you. I'm live at Memory Fireworks. I will be here till 3:30, and I'm here with Brandon and Drake. They're like the youngest workers here, but they know a lot. You could come in here and ask them anything. They will help you out. Drake, tell me about the artillery.
Yeah, so we have our M6. Those are 6-inch canisters. They're really loud, and they're really big brakes. We also have M5, which are last year's, but they're still really good with really big brakes.
Brandon, anything you'd like to add about artillery?
Yeah, we have the Neon Diablo. That's a really good one. It has a good amount of color, big brakes at the top.
How about the fountains? I know we haven't talked about that yet, but you seem pretty excited about them.
Yeah, we have a large selection of fountains. We have Memory Surprise, which at 3 different times shoots up to 30 feet. We have Jump Ship, which is brand new this year. It has a bunch of different ground blooms, which spin out while the fountain's going off, and they spin everywhere.
Awesome. Any favorite fountains of yours, Brandon?
Personally, it's the Memory Surprise, cheapest, good fountain.
Okay, gotcha. And how about finale? For those people that are putting together their fireworks show, they need that big finale firework. What would you recommend?
I would get Exploding Rainbow Gone Nuclear. It's a pretty good price point. It's 100 shots, just rapid fire, super colorful.
Anything other from you, Brandon?
The Gen X is definitely the best finale that we have. It's 260 shots, a lot of color, good amount of height, loudness, and Dreamweaver also has big brakes, a lot of noise, and good color too.
Gotcha. Well, thank you guys. This is Abby at Memory Fireworks off Exit 69. They are home of the 3 L's, largest selection, lowest prices, locally owned. This is Abby with the Mighty 790 and 104.7 KFGO.
I shared some of my thoughts on the Supreme Court. It's predictable, and messages came in. This one stood out to me at 35270. That's the iConsultants of North Dakota Text Club. Tyler, the Supreme Court chooses the outcome, then finds a way to justify their decision instead of basing decisions on laws, science, and all factual information available. Now, you are not alone in feeling that way. And the fact that people are finding themselves thinking and pointing to that shows that they are having the integrity of that institution is gone. And quite frankly, it's by their own doing. And I don't know, I asked this question, I said this on Monday, and I firmly believe it. You've got Clarence Thomas with everything that his wife, Jenny Thomas, texting other men during the insurrection, all of that. And you know what? He had a tough time because people were asking, well, what did he know and when? Because you know damn well he knew what she was up to based on how close they publicly talk about how they are so intertwined in their daily activities when it comes to politics and public life. Can't convince me that he didn't know. Well, it seems like he's kind of out for vengeance, isn't he? I mean, you can read it in his, opinions. You can read it in the way he either concurs or disagrees. I mean, it is, the gloves are type off right now. And that's a troubling thing because there is no accountability for a Supreme Court justice. They've got a lifetime appointment. The only thing that could happen is if Congress decides to put some constraints on them. And then everyone will be up in arms saying, well, it's because you didn't get your way. I think they're overreaching as of now because of some of the things that have come down. As this texter is saying right now, they're basically, the way it appears, is pulling cases that have a political bent to them and then deciding those outcomes and then finding ways to justify outcomes instead of letting, history, letting, precedent, all of that to build up to the case. Because if you remember what they were asked during their hearings, people are saying, well, they lied during those hearings, Tyler. One could make that argument. But they talked about the precedent for, the established law, for example, of Roe versus Wade. That's what Brett Kavanaugh said. That is what, Gorsuch said. Well, it's set in precedent. Well, then didn't impact their vote. And we know what happened there. And when I look at the decisions throughout, whether it's Miranda, whether it's Roe versus Wade, whether it's about the EPA today, or the ones that they're going to be taking up going forward, because you know what? Ketanji Jackson Brown is now a Supreme Court justice. So glass ceiling broke. But she's replacing Breyer. Not going to change the outcomes going forward in the next Supreme Court session, in which earlier today they agreed to take up an election case out of North Carolina. What this does, and I'm not going to get into the weeds for you because I don't want your eyes to glaze over here, but what it would allow, if in fact they take this case up and, as has been quite predictable, side on perhaps those more fringe ideas, it would allow state legislators even more broad power to set up federal election rules, even if the state court of which they reside in says, yeah, those are unconstitutional. So you think about what we just learned over the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, as you're watching not only what was being done on the date and the days leading up to January 6th, but you think about, say, Ron Johnson, Wisconsin, and what was revealed that he certainly tried to throw an intern under the bus, how convenient for him as a U.S. Senator, that he was willing to have one of his staff hand deliver fake electors to the Vice President of the United States from the legislature in Wisconsin. So those different ballots, right? Just create enough confusion so the whole legitimacy of that election could be thrown into chaos, and then who knows what might have happened. If the Supreme Court takes this up, which they are, and if they fall in line like they have been, which I predict they probably will, the integrity of not only the Supreme Court, but the integrity of elections going forward, being in the hands of politicians at legislative levels, is going to create even more chaos when we think about how elections are in fact counted, decided on the federal level, the presidential level in particular. Supreme Court is getting their hands involved in this as well. I don't like it. If you do, explain it to me, 35270 I'll come back to those. In fact, I got messages, but I got to step out of the way. Abby Miller, one more time out at Memory Fireworks. She's on I-29, exit 69 north of Fargo. She'll be jetting on back here for Audibles in about 30 minutes' time. KFGO News next, Rusty Alverson to follow, then Audibles at the top of the hour. That's coming up and so much more here on a Thursday edition of Afternoons Live. I'm Tyler Axenis. Don't go anywhere.
KFGO News, partly sunny, Fargo-Moorhead at 76. I'm Paul Jurgens, near 79 for the afternoon high. Carrington, North Dakota Police Chief Brandon Sola has been identified as the victim of a deadly motorcycle crash on I-94 in West Fargo Tuesday night. The State Patrol says a 36-year-old Sola was thrown from his motorcycle, which came to rest on the median shoulder of westbound I-94. He died at the scene. Sola was not wearing a helmet. He was appointed Carrington Police Chief in April after joining the department as a part-time officer. He was a native of Velva, North Dakota. Sola was married with 5 children. He was also a Master Sergeant with the Air National Guard in Fargo. He'd been a member of the 119th Wing since 2003. The crash remains under investigation. High gas prices are causing problems for service stations and convenience stores. Drive-offs at the pumps have skyrocketed and left many businesses unable to recover the money lost in those gas thefts. Amy Keel is manager of Orton's Holiday Station store in South Moorhead.
With that being in the month of May, we had $3,500 in drive-offs, and we're pushing almost $4,000 for the month of June.
The station has just switched to prepay or pay at the pump only. Keel says the drive-offs are no longer a criminal matter in Minnesota. She says several years ago the legislature passed a bill leaving it to the owners to handle the theft as a civil issue.
We submit the information to the Minnesota Petroleum Association, and they help send letters out to people that have driven off so we can get repaid. But what we're seeing is upward of 70% of those people we submit plates on actually have vehicles with stolen plates, so we're unable to do any recovery.
Fargo-Moorhead, 76. This is KFGO News. 76. This is KFGO News. The Department of Veterans Affairs is responding to a coalition of local veterans who oppose plans to build an outhouse at the Fargo National Cemetery. United Patriotic Body says an outhouse, which the VA calls a vault toilet, would be impractical because it would have no electricity, plumbing, or heat. The VA says the vault toilet is a waterless, non-flush toilet that stores waste in a large, airtight underground container. It will be emptied and cleaned on a regular basis. The United Patriotic Body's Commander Jason Hicks says there's been no communication with the VA on the issue. He says the veterans will go forward with plans to file a formal complaint through Senator Hoeven's office. Ramsey County, North Dakota Sheriff Steve Nelson says 2 men from Wisconsin in their 70s made it to shore after their boat capsized yesterday afternoon on Lake Irvine near Church's Ferry. Nelson says the men were on their way in from fishing when the motor on their small boat quit and the boat was flipped over by a wave and strong wind. Both men had life jackets on.
Thank goodness for they wearing their life jackets. This is a perfect example of where it saved their lives, I think.
Nelson says in this incident, like a similar one last weekend on Devil's Lake when 4 people were rescued after high wind capsized their boat, demonstrates the need to check the weather before heading out on the water. Minnesotans can now fill a prescription to treat COVID-19 at 4 of the state-run testing sites. The medication Paxlovid is available now in Moorhead, Brooklyn Park, Duluth, and Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. Patients can get tested, evaluated, and receive the prescription at no cost. State Health Commissioner Jan Malcolm says they are hopeful that more people can access what she calls a critical tool for helping prevent severe disease and keep people out of the hospital. Minnesota DOT is asking the public to help choose a name for the newly designated Route 20 bike route. The 188-mile-long route connects Moorhead to St. Cloud by way of Pelican Rapids, Fergus Falls, and Alexandria. Voting closes on July 12th. Based on feedback from the public last year, participants were asked to suggest potential names and features of the route. Near 79 this afternoon, Fargo-Moorhead, a partly to mostly sunny sky. Overnight, about 53 clear. 80 sunshine tomorrow for Saturday. 82 partly cloudy. A slight chance of showers and thunderstorms. Rain chances continue into Saturday night. Sunday, 82 partly sunny. Chance of showers and thunderstorms again Sunday night. And then the fourth Monday, partly sunny. Chance of showers, thunderstorms, 82. Partly sunny, 77. Paul Jurgens, News Radio, KFGO.
Rusty Alverson back
Yes,
in the
sir.
KFGO studio.
Yes, sir. Hi, Tyler.
Hi. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
USDA talking about costs, and certainly costs of everything seems to be going on up.
Well, yeah, it's on the mind of everybody. And USDA's latest number showing the cost of fuel, electricity, lubrication expected to increase around 34% this year, Tyler, compared to last year. And American Farm Bureau economist Shelby Meyer says farmers are feeling the pinch. Now, speaking of fuel, Tyler, it's a concern for farmers in Ukraine when it comes to the harvest later on this spring. We've heard reports that they are planting, they're doing their best, but also reports online about farmers in Ukraine actually destroying their harvest equipment because they don't want Russia to use that equipment to harvest their crops.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, and if they're starting to destroy them, I know that's probably the step further. I recall reading earlier on in this war that they were sabotaging some of their vehicles, that they would leave them, but I don't know exactly what the sabotage entailed, but it wasn't functional. But now if it's gotten to the point where they're destroying them.
And then we had that story, Tyler, about Russia trying to steal a bunch of new equipment from Ukraine, and they were able to disable it because of the new technology that we have in these pieces of equipment. So it's the situation. Yeah.
No end in sight, unfortunately.
Yeah. How many days now, Tyler?
Yeah, I don't know, the hundreds. It is, and knowing that the G7 got together, and Zelensky's still begging for more ammunition, more weapons, just not good at all.
Yeah, this is a story we will continue to cover.
Well, I appreciate it, Rusty.
Let's have some fun next hour.
We will. Audibles in about 30 minutes time. Rusty Halverson, Derek Hansen. I know Jake from Froggy 99.9, the almost arsonist of the entire building during the picnic last week. He'll be joining us, and perhaps Abby Miller if she gets back from that fireworks. She was up at Memory Fireworks throughout the last 2 hours here. Get you caught up with CBS National News. We're heading up to Devil's Lake, North Dakota. Tanner Cherney right after this. North Country, which is Devil's Lake, North Dakota. I will tell you, as I promised, when this game wrapped up, what the final was. And the final is Cleveland 5, Twins 3. So Twins lose, bottom 9, and here we go again, bullpen. Thanks. We'll lighten up. Let's talk fishing. Let's talk 4th of July. Tanner Cherney, Devil's Lake Tourism, welcome back, man.
How are you, Tyler?
Frustrated with the Twins bullpen for like the third week in a row, but we can get our mind. I'll do the woo-saw, rub my earlobes, but I'll think about fishing, which I know this might be a sensitive subject, and I'm not going to pull you into it, but I know last weekend was the fishing tournament, Chamber. The wind was unbearable. It was unsafe. I think you made the right call, or whoever did from the Chamber, saying, look, this is too dangerous for boaters to be out there. These are grandparents with their grandkids. So for everybody that's listening that was complaining about it, you're wrong. The Chamber is right. They're putting safety first. There, I had to get that off my chest.
You did a really good job of getting that off your chest.
Well, that's what I do for a living, man. But it was unfortunate. I know how much work goes into it. I know how much people anticipate that tournament because it's so well run out of Graham's Island. But there's nothing a guy or gal can do when you've got those excessive winds blowing. I was at a golf tournament here, and they couldn't put tents up because it was so strong here. Now imagine you're on a big body of water like Devil's Lake. People had to get rescued. So for people to think, I could have went out fishing, you're wrong. You guys made the right decision. But anyway, I had to get that off my chest. We'll move on now. How's the fishing up there since then?
The fishing's been good since then. We've kind of moved, like we talked last week, into that midsummer pattern here with 4th of July knocking on our door. It's a lot of that troll and bite, bottom bouncers and spinners, and anywhere from 10 to 20 foot of water. And ounce-and-a-half bottom bouncer seems to be a good weight right now because you can kind of fish both of those depths without having any too big of issues. But water temps are rising, and walleye bite is definitely still picking up. So I think we're just getting to some of the best fishing of the season.
Well, it's good to hear, especially when you got a holiday weekend fast approaching here. The 4th of July is Monday, and people, I know because there was a time earlier this year I looked at some of the locations up there. Yeah, they were booked. So when we talk about, folks, if you want to get up to Devil's Lake, you better go to devilslakend.com. Book your stays. If you want a guided fishing, get up there, but plan ahead. Don't do like I did. So people are going to be up there. I mean, always this time of year, whether it's at Ty's Lodge or if you're at, Pros Lakeside, there's a lot of activity going on up there.
There is. And, we've got the 4th of July parade in town on the 4th. That starts at 11 a.m. We've got the fireworks out at Ruger Park at sundown. I know Woodland Resort has their own fireworks display they usually put on and a bunch of events out there. So a lot of great things going on, and it's looking like it's going to be, fingers crossed, Mother Nature holds true. It's going to be a nice weekend, and even better, the opportunity to get out and enjoy some walleye fishing.
Yeah, people will do that. There's no doubt. I know Casino also has a great fireworks display usually out there as well. So if you are wanting to go out there and basically take in 4 different fireworks shows, find a place to anchor up or find one of those resorts to stop at. As far as fishing goes, I mean, there's been, aside from the strong winds, it's been pretty good going. I've seen people limiting it out pretty often up there.
It is. It's one of those bites, too, where you may go hour without any crazy bites going, and then you hit a window where 20 minutes you could put 7-8 fish in the boat really quickly. So it's just capitalizing on those opportunities, and if you mark those fish or you get a couple bites, mark it on your GPS and just keep working that same spot, whether it's 100 yards or a mile long. And seems like things go really quick and really fast when everything's clicking at the right pace.
Yeah. Well, I know somebody, and of course it's all hearsay. Those fishing stories and how they come together is, every time I dropped the line, I had a bite. And I'm not sure where they're at, and they'd probably hate for me to even disclose it on this listening audience. But I know that if you find, like you just said, that right pocket, you just stay there and you'll be done in no time.
Hit the old lake shoreline, 15, 20 foot of water is that old submerged shoreline. Find the flooded roads, which can be anywhere from 10 to 15 foot, or rocky points. A lot of these main structure spots are going to be where you're going to find a lot of those walleyes holding out right now.
Now, I know there's a northerly wind today that's been quite strong. In fact, I'm hearing it. Are you out fishing right now?
I am not. I wish I was, but unfortunately not right now. Okay. But very soon this weekend I will be.
Okay, you would have had people cussing your name if that would have been the case. So, all right, Tanner, is there anything that you want to get out before I let you go this week?
Biggest thing is with the bright sunny days, be adaptable to spinner colors, whether it's gold, silver. That worked really well last week, and you get some of the cloud cover, maybe switch out to a red or an orange, but just having the ability to utilize various colors and finding which ones the fish prefer and just capitalizing on those opportunities.
Very good. Tanner, you have a good 4th of July. I appreciate your time, and we'll chat again next week.
Sounds good, Tyler. Have a great 4th.
Yeah, you do the same. Tanner Cherney, Devil's Eye Tourism. Outdoors doing something, just not getting a line wet right now, but he will in no time. I have no doubt about that. Too Tall Tom Schmansky is going to let you know if your 4th of July plans are going to get wet here in just a moment. When we come back, we'll wrap up the second hour, and then it's Audibles, our weekly game that's brought to you by Don's Car Wash. We'll have Derek Hansen, Rusty Halverson, Jake Litwin from Froggy 99.9. I see Abby Miller has returned from Memory Fireworks. We'll see if she's going to be able to make it on in here. And then myself, I'm Tyler Estes. You can start texting in who you think's going to win to 35270. And be listening to Audibles right here on KFGO. I have no idea what is going on in our text club and why all of you are favoring Derek Hansen. I mean, overwhelmingly favoring Derek Hansen to win audibles this week. I don't know what the luster is about him. I don't know what presentation or how he sounded over these airwaves complaining about the Minnesota Twins bullpen, but it's got you all convinced. 35270. We're going to have Derek Hansen. Abby Miller confirmed she's in. We've got Jake Litwin from Froggy 99.9. Myself, I'm Tyler Axis. Rusty Alverson will be playing audibles here in just a little bit here. Somebody asked a question for the meat dude here just within the last 10 minutes. I'll save it for next week, but if it's going to be for your 4th of July camping, I apologize, but you missed them, and we'll try to get them back again next week. Other individuals who were texting in had some comments about the Supreme Court. Tyler, the Supreme Court has lost its integrity because they ruled on the side of the Constitution. Talk about poor losers. You didn't seem to question their integrity when they ruled the way you wanted. Hypocrisy much? Well, point where in the Constitution some of this is falling down to. For example, if they're going to be taking up the whole state electors don't have to listen to their courts, seems like a whole new ball game and a whole theory that is just brand new in right-wing circles. If you could point out where some of this is factually based instead of them wanting outcomes that's going to rile up their side, I'd welcome it. Tyler, if the Supreme Court says the states will make the laws allowing state legislators to choose the president, why would we even vote for a president? Fair question. I'll let you all ponder on that one for a little bit. Because what was being touted behind scenes that's now becoming more in the day of light of the state electors and all the attorneys for the president, the John Eastmans of the world, who are in a lot of legal trouble, I'm going to imagine, saying, well, just have Wisconsin send a different slate over here. Not the ones that want Biden. We want the ones that want Trump. Send those down to the vice president. Say he's got 2 different packets here, and because of the confusion, why the whole thing's vollenoid. You know, like that sort of thing. Now, if the Supreme Court's taking this up, that states can go above and beyond what courts are deeming, whether it's for gerrymandering or, in fact, this when it comes to federal elections, it's a bad sign, folks. 35270. We're changing gears. We're playing audibles. That's brought to you by Don's Car Wash here in just a little bit. And a lot of love at the text club. Somebody giving excuses as to why their car is dirty. Elm Tree parking under that last night. Well, doesn't matter, but we'll put a smile on your car and on your face. I'm going to dedicate my game today to NDSU, the print and copy services up there. This one's for you. If you think I'm going to win 35270, just text in Tyler, again, Abby Miller, Derek Hansen, Rusty Halverson, Jake Litwin. That is your contestants for this week's game. I'm going to get you caught up with CBS National News, our weekly game right after this here on KFGO. Headed for our weekly showdown of audibles, brought to you by Don's Car Wash. Could put a smile on your car and on your face. An audible to the audibles lineup. Abby Miller will be in here. She's still helping Heidkamp do something over there. She's doing all the work, but we all know that. Rusty Halverson, he's in studio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi. Derek Hansen, I don't know what you did. I don't know what you said. But the love affair for the listeners and you winning today.
Maybe it's because I just came in
astounding.
fired up about this whole Twins bullpen and Big 10 news. Maybe.
Perhaps, but whatever you said resonated. They're cheering for you. They want you to win today. I'm Tyler Axis. I'm host of Afternoons Live Audibles. Again, brought to you by Don's. All you have to do is text in the first name of who you think's going to win to 35270 and be listening. That's coming up after we check in with Paul Jerkins in that KFGO News Center. Final hour of Afternoons Live on a Thursday afternoon, rolling on here on KFGO.
KFGO News, Fargo-Moorhead, a mostly sunny sky, 77. A man killed in a motorcycle crash on I-94 in West Fargo Tuesday night was the police chief of Carrington, North Dakota. 36-year-old Brandon Sola was also a master sergeant with the Air National Guard in Fargo. The highway patrols, the Sola was thrown from the motorcycle. He was not wearing a helmet. Carrington Mayor Tom Erdman offered condolences on behalf of the city to Sola's family. Erdman says Sola was an enthusiastic and welcomed leader. He was married with 5 children and was appointed police chief in April. The State Patrol has released the name of a man who was killed when his pickup ran into the side of a moving train east of Steele, North Dakota, Tuesday night. 24-year-old Cole Helmers of Center died at the scene. Pulling a livestock trailer, Helmers struck the second car of a BNSF train that was going between 50 and 60 miles an hour. The pickup and trailer rolled in a ditch. The engineer activated the emergency braking system. 3 head of cattle also died. North Dakota's Attorney General has found the sale of a couple thousand acres of prime farmland to a group tied to Bill Gates complies with the law meant to protect family farms because the land will be leased back to farmers. Attorney General Drew Wrigley had questioned the land sale. His office has issued a statement saying the transaction tied to Microsoft's co-founder complied with the decades-old anti-corporate farming law. The law bans corporations or limited liability companies from owning farm or ranch land, but allows trusts to own the land if it is leased to farmers. Police in Sioux Falls used smoke bombs to disperse hundreds of people protesting the Supreme Court's decision to ban abortion in many states, including South Dakota. Owen Jenkins was one of the demonstrators.
I saw people exercising their right to protest, fighting for their individual right to choose what happens to their own body and what they do with their own body.
Police say there were a small number of arrests. Those arrested could face a charge of failing to disperse and other misdemeanors. Officers used a loudspeaker to get demonstrators to move out of the street and onto sidewalks. Police in riot helmets held batons as they approached demonstrators and launched smoke bombs into the crowd. The Minnesota National Guard could lose hundreds of soldiers if they don't get vaccinated against COVID-19 immediately. The Department of Defense deadline for getting shots has arrived. More than 95% of the Minnesota National Guard's 13,000 members have been vaccinated, but that leaves more than 600 members who could face dismissal. Across the country, more than 40,000 Army National Guard soldiers, making up about 13% of its total troops, have not been vaccinated. Fargo-Moorhead near 79 this afternoon, a partly to mostly sunny sky, 53 clear overnight. Tomorrow, 80 sunny Saturday, partly sunny, 82 in the afternoon, a slight chance of showers, thunderstorms. That'll continue into Saturday night, low 53. Sunday, partly sunny, 82. Again, another chance of showers, thunderstorms Sunday night. And rain possibilities for the fourth Monday, partly sunny. Chance of showers, thunderstorms, 82. 77. Paul Jerkins, News Radio, KFGO.
I told you there was going to be an audible to our audibles lineup. Jake Litwin, the man who almost burned down this entire building during the picnic last week, he said, yeah, I need a week off.
That's fair. We kind of roasted him.
Good pun. I
must have missed all this. What happened?
You missed.
That.
You weren't here.
Yeah, Derek wasn't
I
here.
spent from 7:30 till
So Tyler
noon.
almost burned the building down.
7:30 till noon on a baby grill of Dan Michaels, right?
I knew this. Joel told the story when I came back on Friday.
He told a very, very skewed version of it. I was right next to the story.
Shocking.
So Eric Johnson had my back. Abby Miller was in the room when it was all being discussed, and then she lied bold-faced to her audience on News and Views.
What?
What? You lie?
Abby a liar?
What?
Wow.
Let's talk about
I would never make Tyler look bad.
Let's talk about that fanny pack.
Yeah, what about
You
it?
bringing that back in style? Is that a thing? Is
Yeah,
fanny packs
no.
coming back?
So my fanny currently is riding like the normal fanny pack on the hips, but it's cool now. It's like wear it across your chest.
Oh.
Did you know that?
I didn't know fanny packs were ever
I'm not going to
cool,
take the
let alone
chance.
Yeah,
putting
they're
one
back.
across-
They're officially back.
Trendsetter, I'm not.
So you have it like a sling?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh,
It'd
so
be
you're
like
demonstrating now.
She's like
Thanks for all you
Chewbacca over
watching
here.
on
Everyone
YouTube.
that's listening to me rearrange my fanny pack.
Well, they're watching you on KFGO.com.
Then it's
Did you
kind
say
of
it's
like
like
a little-
Chewbacca?
Yeah, Chewbacca's strapped.
Yeah, it is kind of Chewbacca.
That's kind of how she's got it hanging now. Like Chewbacca's little strap to
This is
keep
how
his
the cool
crossbow
kids
on.
wear them now.
So Abby's bringing the fanny pack back. Rusty's bringing the mullet back. Derek, what are you bringing back?
I have nothing. I got nothing.
Okay. Madison's like 12 years old, so I can't ask what you're bringing back.
Wow.
I am 24. I'm old.
Sorry,
God, that
I
is
cut you
so
in half there.
young. I can't even imagine that.
Abby.
I just want to bring back Taylor Rogers. That's all I want to bring. I need a Twins
The
reliever
glory
back.
days of 6 months ago.
Yes.
The
Not
Minnesota
even that.
Twins. Yeah, no. All right. Thanks for everybody that's texting. He still got a chance. We haven't really officially started the game. Eric Johnson's a producer. He put together today's game of audibles. Again, if you want to text in who you think's going to win, first name's all that's needed. 35270. Abby, Rusty, I'm Tyler, Derek, Madison. That's this week's contestants. Eric?
All right, guys. It is time for audibles. We're a little behind, so we'll skim through the directions. You guys all know them. Rusty won last week, so he gets to select first. Rusty, movie, TV show, actor, song, and character.
May we please start with movie?
Movie, audio clip number 1.
I have some information that you can choose to use or not use. Up to you.
Movie, audio clip number 2.
I hate you! Can't say it. Can't say one word. Even the guy who can't think says something. You guys just stand there? Come on!
Tyler.
Anchorman.
That is correct.
Really?
Vince
Yeah.
Vaughn.
I had to dive in. Last week, I got a little shook in the seat over here, so I'm going for it.
Good job.
Jeez.
Wow.
Tyler out to the early 3-point lead with
Shook
the
in
correct
seat.
guess of Anchorman. 4 categories remaining. TV show.
Wrong with you?
I don't know. It's late in the week. It's been a long couple of weeks here.
Actor, song, or character?
Character.
Character, fictional character. Audio clip number 1.
I'm in an impossible fantasy world. It's true, I'm going mad.
Character, audio clip number 2.
Don't get your musket in an uproar, Brubaker. I'll be at the Shiloh reenactment. Hey, it's a civil war. What's the worst that could happen? Bye-bye.
Character, audio clip number 3.
I know this neighborhood. I got beat up in that alley.
Madison.
Madison.
Is it Captain America?
That is correct.
I heard Chris Evans' voice, so I just guessed.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good guess.
Okay.
Captain America, in fact, the character for this week. That puts Madison into second place with 2 points. Tyler still in the lead with 3. 3 categories remaining. Madison, would you like TV show, actor, or song?
Actor.
Actor. Actor. Audio clip number 1.
My mother was an Austrian Finnish Swede, and my father was Dutch Italian Icelandic, hence my unique accent.
Rusty.
Rusty.
Kate Blanchett.
Wow, you can.
I know.
Well,
he did.
Yeah, you guys are leading. I had to do something.
Rusty eliminated from the rest of the actor category. We move on to actor. Audio clip number 2.
Hey, don't forget about my money. I got a couple mil coming in like a week. Yeah. And when it gets in, I'll give you a call. You come pick it up.
Madison.
When it gets here, I'll give you a call.
Madison.
Jonah Hill.
Yeah, that's how
That is correct.
You thought it was a chick in the first one, didn't you?
That is not
Kate
Was
Blanchett.
No one has ever gotten Kate Blanchett and Jonah Hill confused before until we get to audibles for the last day of June 2022.
Was that the Wolf of Wall Street there, Aaron?
That was indeed a Wolf of Wall Street.
I stand corrected.
Who is that? Kate Blanchett or Jonah Hill? Yeah.
Sounds sexy.
That is quite a mix-up.
I mean, that is, yeah.
Abby's going with the big headphones now.
One of the
She came
one of
here.
the sides doesn't work.
It's a big disadvantage for her.
Big disadvantage.
And it was throwing me.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have our game face on now.
Okay.
Now that we're deep.
Now we're ready.
She's like the quarterback that doesn't have the
Now
helmet.
we're
I
ready.
can't hear the play call in.
We're ready.
That puts Madison into the lead with 5 points. Tyler in second with 3. Rusty, Abby, Derek yet to score, but 2 categories remaining. Anybody's game. Madison, would you like TV show or song?
TV show.
We're gonna have to do them all. At some
I know,
point.
right? It's like, why?
It's too left.
TV show. Audio clip number 1.
You got no excuses, and that's the only place to be starting. With expectations like this, the only place you can go is down. That's the problem with being this good.
TV show. Audio clip number 2.
Lila, come here. Look.
Derek.
I'm sorry.
Derek.
Is that Friday Night Lights?
That is correct.
I was almost going to guess it on the first one, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was addicted to that show. And Lila was.
Yeah,
Wow,
a unique
that's
character name, but not
okay.
a super main character. So we gave that clue for someone who is obviously as
Never
big of a
seen
fan as Derek.
Yeah,
Never seen it.
Not just of the show by the sounds of it, but of that character.
Did she
in
date
particular.
Derek Jeter for a while?
I believe she did, and I'm blanking on.
And she hasn't been on
her
anything since,
name.
Can we talk about who has not dated Derek Jeter?
I wonder if
Well, the only known person we have, I think. There's been a lot of short dates with Derek Jeter.
Yeah, wasn't there the story out that they got a gift basket
package
the next morning?
Yeah.
Oh,
A little farewell package.
Yeah.
What, now,
That-
what would
that's
be
the
in
urban
that-
legend.
What
Yeah.
would be in
Like a
that
fruit
type
basket.
of a fruit basket? I'm curious. Oh, this is a conversation a podcast. That's where we have this conversation, not on a family-friendly show.
All right, one category
Wrapping my
remaining.
mind. We can do it.
Unfortunately, Rusty and Abby cannot win this week, but you can lock it up for Madison with a correct answer at any
Should
point
have
in
switched the
time.
headphones earlier.
Derek and Tyler tied for second with 3. You need 2 points for the tie, 3 for the clean win. Madison, answer at any point. You're this week's winner. Final category is song.
The worst.
Audio
The worst
clip
category. I was just going to say.
number
Here we go.
1.
We're all bobbing. It's like we're all in an
Little
elevator right now.
It's always like, I'm listening, and then
Are we in a
it's like, wow, this is
super,
fun.
supermarket?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not my answer, by the way.
Song. Audio clip number 2.
Lord.
Man.
Song. Audio clip number 3.
Derek. Sweet Child of Mine.
Madison.
That is correct.
I thought it was a solo to Freebird, actually. Well.
It is not, and that
It's a
ties
tie.
it up at
Oh my
5.
Oh, boy.
So we get to have ourselves a tiebreaker. Now remember,
Everybody's excited for the tiebreaker that's not
They're
in the
so
tiebreaker.
fun.
tiebreakers are a speed game because this should be obvious to everyone in the room. The tiebreaker category is actor. Actor
Rusty, we don't guess.
is the
we don't?
tiebreaker
No,
character.
Oh, we can't.
Category.
No, we don't
Just
guess.
between
We're not
Madison,
even
just
talking
between
about
Madison and Derek.
Rusty looks so ready.
Just Madison and Derek. Tiebreaker. Audio clip.
I don't know
Derek.
how to
Madison.
put this.
Derek was first.
Will Ferrell.
That
For the win.
In the world.
That's 2 I've lost to Derek in the
Comeback City.
That was
the easiest.
that was like a Cleveland Guardians
Yeah.
type game right there. Good job,
Madison,
Derek.
your bullpen could not close it
Yeah,
out
I
for
know,
you.
right? Thanks to that song category.
Yeah.
Well, you lived up to all the expectations of the text club, Derek.
Sorry, you can only pick one.
Now remember what his new. We got to play either Firehouse or Cinderella for his.
Oh, please, Cinderella, no Firehouse. No.
All right, we better find the love of a lifetime here because one of you found yourselves in the graces of a Don's Car Wash, a free The Works, because you chose Derek Hansen to win this week's Audibles.
All right.
Sorry to the person that saw me at Memory and said he was going to vote for me.
Yeah.
Oh, do we have time to?
My apologies to Kate Blanchett because
sounds so seductive in that
You have posters of Jonah Hill in your
Poor
room.
Well, there's a lot of you that picked Derek. One of you is going to get a text back from me because you got The Works from Don's Car Wash. Thanks for sponsoring our game, Don's Car Wash. Put a smile in your car and on your face. But before all that, we need to check in with JJ Gordon, who was out at Generous Jerry's Fireworks. JJ? they have lost their integrity, but mostly now they ruled on what absolutely should have been a separation of church and state. A coach praying on a field after a game. Supporters are telling me there's no pressure for the rest of their players to join the circle if they want playing time. And for 1 second, cannot convince me the court would have ruled the same way if it was a Muslim or Jew or any other religion. That has been thrown out, that latter part for sure. That the people that are saying, hey, this is the right move. Everybody's got the right to partake. The people have the right to not partake. If it weren't that religion, I wonder what the reaction would have been. Be mad at me all you want. Ask yourselves that for those of you that are mad. If that was somebody wearing, the headdress wanting this, would you have felt the same way? I'm curious. 35270. We'll take that conversation. And anything else. It's a Thursday that feels like a Friday because we got a great weekend ahead. Independence Day on Monday, and I know many of you are, in fact, this is your last half hour of work for the weekend, so we'll get you there in style. I'm Tyler Axis, your host. Eric Johnson's our producer. You got it locked into Afternoons Live on KFGO.
KFGO News, Fargo-Moorhead, partly sunny at 77. I'm Paul Juergens. A man killed in a motorcycle crash on I-94 in West Fargo Tuesday night was the police chief of Carrington, North Dakota. 36-year-old Brandon Solda was also a master sergeant with the Air National Guard in Fargo. A high patrol says Solda was thrown from the motorcycle. He was not wearing a helmet. Carrington Mayor Tom Erdman offered condolences on behalf of the city to Solda's family. Erdman says Solda was an enthusiastic and welcomed leader. He was married with 5 children and was appointed police chief in April. Ramsey County Sheriff Steve Nelson says 2 men from Wisconsin in their 70s made it to shore after their boat capsized yesterday afternoon on Lake Irvine near Church's Ferry, North Dakota. The men were on their way in from fishing when the motor on their small boat quit and the boat flipped. It was flipped over by a wave and strong wind. Nelson says both men had life jackets on.
Thank goodness for their wearing their life jackets. This is a perfect example of where it saved their lives, I think.
Nelson says in this incident, like a similar one last weekend in Devil's Lake when 4 people were rescued after high wind capsized their boat, it demonstrates the need to check the weather before heading out onto the water. 77. This is KFGO News. 77
Hey guys,
degrees.
thanks. I'm down at
This is
Generous
KFGO
Jerry's,
News.
a place that's got a
Under
lot
this
of memories
appointment,
for me.
fans
This is where
ready
we
to
bought our
see,
fireworks
since
growing up.
2020,
It's where I
to see
still buy
Maroon
my
5
fireworks
at
today.
Fargo.
And I'll
The
tell you
band has
why.
canceled
I
its
was looking
Fargo
at their
show
flyer
again,
and I
along
said,
with
James.
most of its summer North American tour. No reason has been given. The only dates still on the band's website include stops in Quebec City, Canada, and Orlando. The group was supposed to be in Fargo in 2020 when the pandemic started. The concert was rescheduled for last year before it was postponed and rescheduled for August 12th. Tickets are being refunded through Ticketmaster. A new Minnesota law allows people 21 and older to buy edibles and beverages that contain a limited amount of THC, the ingredient in marijuana that creates a high. Edibles like gummies and beverages can contain up to 5 milligrams of THC per serving and 50 milligrams per package under the law. 5 milligrams is about half the standard dose found in recreational marijuana in other states. Under the law, new THC products must be derived from legally certified hemp, but industry experts say 5 milligrams will produce the same effect whether it's derived from hemp or marijuana. The chancellor of the North Dakota University System has been given a new 2-year contract and a raise. The Board of Higher Education made the decision today after a closed session with Chancellor Mark Hagerott. Hagerott will receive a 2.7% raise, bringing his salary from $389,000 to $400,000 a year. University of North Dakota President Andy Armacost was granted a 2% raise, bringing his pay to $377,000. New NDSU President David Cook agreed to an annual salary of $420,000. The North Dakota Department of Health has confirmed the first human case of West Nile virus of the season. An infected person lives in Richland County. They were not hospitalized. Amanda Bach is with the State Health Department.
It's not unusual for us to have a case at this point in the year, but we do normally see our spiking cases in mid to late August. So typically there's only a few cases that take place between June and the beginning of August, and they start to pick up.
Bakken says it's hard to predict what kind of case level the state will have this summer. She says everyone can take precautions to help prevent contracting West Nile. The most important thing is to use repellents and wear protective clothing outdoors, especially at dawn and dusk when mosquitoes are out. KFGO Weather Center forecast from meteorologist Tom Shamansky. Near 79 perhaps yet this afternoon. We're at 77 now under a partly sunny sky. 53 clear overnight, light northwest-west wind. Sunny 80 tomorrow's high. Saturday partly sunny. Just a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms 82. Chance of showers and thunderstorms Saturday night. Also Sunday night, a rain chance. Partly sunny during the day on Sunday, 82, 60, with possible showers and thunderstorms Sunday night. And then the 4th of July, Monday, partly sunny. Chance of showers and thunderstorms once again, 82. 77, Paul Juergens, News Radio KFGO.
I'll just let this one rock a little bit. You're flipping burgers on your 4th of July grill, and all you're doing is listening to some this is banging music. I love it. Thanks for playing that one, Eric. We got a couple of things coming up in just a little bit here. I want to get you caught up with CBS News, but I know that you're probably either thinking, God, it's getting close to that 5 o'clock punch out. I haven't done my fireworks shopping yet. Well, the person that you're going to want to listen to for all the advice is none other than J.J. Gordon. You're going to find him at Generous Jerry's Fireworks. So let's check in with J.J. Gordon one more time here.
Hey guys, thanks. I'm down at Generous Jerry's, a place that's got a lot of memories for me. This is where we bought our fireworks growing up. It's where I still buy my fireworks today. And I'll tell you why. I was looking at their flyer and I said, James is the manager over here. I said, this can't be right. You're telling me that there's a half price special every half hour?
That is correct. Something in our stand we put on sale, half off every half hour. It could be a multi-shot. It could be a 500-gram cake. It could be a fountain. It could be some firecrackers. It could be some Roman candles. Every half hour we put an item on for 50% off.
That is one heck of a deal. And of course, when you come out here and you start shopping around, you're going to find out that there's so many cool things. The swords are something I love. You've got the unicorns. You've got the dragons for the kids. You've got all of the things I need to have a great show and really tick off my neighbor, because they're going to go to someplace else. They're not going to get the bang for the buck I do. I'm going to get the biggest show thanks to Generous Jerry's.
Absolutely. You're going to get the bangest show. Why? Because we have great assortments. We've got on our 500 grams, buy 4, get 1 free. 200 grams, buy 4, get 1 free. On our shell racks, buy 4, get 1 free. You can mix and match on those. We have $3, $5, $10 off on our reloadable shells. We have some great specials. We have coupons as you come in the door. So yes, we do have the product you want. Come on down, check us out, and I make sure, guaranteed, that you'll go happy this 4th of July season.
Hey, James, listen, Generous Jerry's is the place to be. Come on in. Shop now so you don't regret later by not finding the best absolute fireworks that you can. Generous Jerry's, I'm at the Frontier location. It's just off 52nd Avenue South in Fargo. Now's the time to stop in. Thanks, James. Do you want to redo that one again, or do you like it?
All right, the Colorado Avalanche, obviously Stanley Cup winners, and they're having their parade earlier today. And it reminded me of a story I read, what was it, 2 weeks ago? No, it was last week. It was, I just found it here. It's a Newsweek article, because I wanted to bring this up completely.
Hey, guys, thanks. It's JJ Gordon from It Takes Two with Amy and JJ. I am live at Generous Jerry's Fireworks. This place has a special
games at Ball Arena in Denver ever again. Got banned for life. Ryan Clark is the guy's name. So we're wondering, well, what do you do? That'd be pretty bad, right, if you're getting banned for life. So what Ryan Clark did to get banned was, well, he spread his friend's ashes onto the ice during a game. So Ryan Clark, Kyle Stark, who was the friend who had passed away last December, they went to the games all the time together for over a decade. And after Kyle passed away, Kyle's family asked Ryan, well, come with us to the game. And what they did was bring a little baggie. And let me read the quotes, because the quotes are, Clark told Denver 7, we had him a little baggie. We got Kyle over the glass and into the ice. And Usher had to come up to me and it was like, hey, dude, what was that? I said, well, to be honest with you, that was my best friend, Kyle. He died. And after the game, Clark received a letter telling him, you're done. You're never coming back to the Avalanche events at this arena ever again. You can't do it. Do you think it was wrong or right? for them to ban him because let me continue to read a quote. Clark goes, I'd do it all over again with the biggest smile on my face like I did the last time. I know in my heart that's where he wanted to be. And then when they asked where they think his friend Kyle is now, he goes, well, the Zamboni guy got him all over the ice. Realistically, again, not the brightest idea, but in my heart, the best way I could give a tribute to my friend for what he truly loved more than anything in the world. So this was a dedicated Avalanche fan whose friend, lifelong friend, or a couple of decades anyway, did what he thought. Do you fault, though, the coordinators and the decision makers of the Avalanche from banning him because he went and sprinkled his friend's ashes, who was a diehard fan on the ice?
It's tricky because if you don't, then it becomes a thing.
You're right.
Now, does it need to be lifetime or maybe just a year?
Yeah.
Like there's some middle ground there that I think could be nuanced. And to me, you can accomplish the same thing outside of the stadium, on the walk up. You know, you can find a where the ice is such a critical component of the sport that if you start a trend, now things are getting really sideways. It's tough.
Here's where he went about it wrong. I mean, sneaking this in and doing it right before a game. I mean, who's to say what if you had picked up, called the front office, say, hey, you know, this is something, and then on your own private time. I mean, these teams are usually pretty good at honoring, you know, dedicated fans in some shape or form. They probably would have been told no, but at least you took that step. And who knows? Maybe they would have told you yes at a time that wasn't right before a game. I think that's where the crux of this is: sneaking your friend in the baggie, and then doing it right before a game is where they were wrong. I don't know that a ban to that extent warranted though. Say, look, no.
Yeah, and I think
don't come back for 6 months.
Yeah, and I think if you do reach out to the front office, if it gets attention, I think they do something really cool. And I think if you reach out, they probably say, well, we can't do it on the ice, but what about this? And offer an option.
Yeah, that would have been accommodating for everybody. Now, let me ask you this, because I've been watching some of the Eric Johnson's my producer. I'm Tyler Axis, by the way. This is Afternoons Live. I got a lot into KFGO Fargo. These parades that get big and blowing up all over. I mean, it doesn't matter if football, basketball. Well, I don't know, basketball, it depends on location for basketball. But Denver, I mean, packed there. Now, explain this. You used to work at a bar. You're a hockey fan.
Yes.
Why are people chugging beers through jerseys?
I think it's a locker room celebration thing, and I'm not positive about that, but I think it's a locker room celebration thing.
Why? Who decided, you know what, I'm going to chug this disgusting Coors Light through a sweaty jersey that I just played in?
Because athletes are dumb.
Probably tastes better that way than a regular Coors Light.
Well, yeah, a little more flavor.
Would you say that to an athlete's face if you were behind the bar?
Yeah, I worked with a former athlete. I worked with a former athlete who would concur with me. A couple of them, actually.
And if it's Zach, he is towering over you and I. If I were on your shoulders, like the kids in the movies, he would still be taller than us.
And I bet you he would concur with that statement that they're all a little bit dumb.
I think he probably would too.
The other Stanley Cup story that we didn't touch on is that the cup itself
got dented right away.
The fastest damage to the cup. The handler said that it's not the first time something like that had happened. It is, however, the fastest when a player going for the team photo trips and dents in the side of it.
And you got to imagine that heart sinks into your stomach when you pick that cup up and you see that it's flat on one side.
The still image of about half of his teammates that noticed what happened and their eyes get about as big as dinner plates.
You cannot tell me that in any given sport, though, what those players are allowed to do with the Stanley Cup afterward. It's cool.
It's one of the wildest traditions.
I am a very, and I mean very, very, very casual fan of hockey. You know, I didn't grow up watching it. When it comes to playoffs, exciting. It's fun to watch in person, but I'm not sitting, you know, you can tell when we're talking wild. I'm kind of like, oh, yeah, okay. But the celebrations with the Stanley Cup is by far the coolest thing that's allowed in all of sports when it comes to winning.
I know I know a guy pretty well who got to drink a beer out of the Stanley Cup. I believe Matt Cullen brought it to town after he won it. And a certain somebody I know was able to pour a little beer in there and take a sip out of it.
There is a coworker in this building, and I'm not going to name names, who relayed that. I'm going to say she, so that'll narrow it down for you. That she got in trouble because I think they were out on the East Coast at a party where the Stanley Cup was, and the handler of the cup wasn't paying attention. One of the players, I think, did that exact same thing, put some beer in that Stanley Cup, and our coworker, who's relatively new, and it's a woman, so you can start narrowing down in your mind, does news sometimes. I think she got in trouble because of that.
Oh, really? Yeah, this person did not get in trouble, as far as I know.
Well,
or was sneakier.
Yeah, was able to get away.
So now I know two people that have drank out of the cup.
One of them gets the same paychecks we do around this building. 237-5948. I'm going to get you caught up with this 2-Tom Schmansky forecast. I'm just looking at the preview here. It looks like it's going to be pretty decent for the weekend. So get out and enjoy it. Get your fireworks. I know of one place. We'll check in with J.J. Gordon after we get you caught up with 2-Tom Schmansky. People are talking about Coors Light in my text club. I appreciate it. I'll come back to that, and we'll see what's coming up on the Drive Time News with Jack Sunday right after this on 790 AM and 104.7 FM KFGO.
Hey guys, thanks. It's JJ Gordon from It Takes Two with Amy and JJ. I am live at Generous Jerry's Fireworks. This place has a special place in my heart because this is where I came with my dad to pick out fireworks. It's where I still come to this day to pick out fireworks because I know that the quality's there. I know that they're watching out for my budget. And I also know that it's just the best in the business. Although I'm with James, the manager here. And James, I think that there might be a misprint on your flyer because it says half price specials every half hour. That can't be right.
That is right. We give off in our warehouse something half price every 30 minutes. It could be a multi-shot. It could be artillery shell. It could be a 500-gram cake. It could be firecrackers. It could be Roman candles. We'll pick it and blow it off at half off.
That is amazing. And, of course, you get to see a lot of familiar faces. People come in year after year after year. I'm sure you've seen some grandparents who are now bringing in their grandkids, and they've been shopping here for a long time because you're going to find great things like your value packs. You guys put these packs together yourselves?
Absolutely. We put our packs together anywhere from $5 all the way up to $1,000. We hand select the product. We put the best product in there, and you're going to have the best show, I guarantee it, this 4th of July season.
Generous Jerry's, family owned for over 50 years. Come on out and see why people keep coming back year after year after year. We're at the Frontier location right now, just off 52nd Avenue South in Fargo. All you're going to do, well, just hop on over and you're going to see all the cars. You're going to see the KFGO vehicle and check out what they've got inside Generous Jerry's.
Coors is going to make a beer with the ice that the Avalanche played on. I have not heard that. I just hope it's not the same game in which the dude spread his friends.
I don't think they change out the entire ice until the end of the year. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to do a fact checker at 4 on that one. Coors. Hi, Jack Sunday.
Hey, man. I'm a banquet guy myself.
Yeah, the banquet. I like that.
I used to be the light guy.
Yeah,
but I'm a man again.
I found my testosterone's back, baby.
I started drinking Coors Light for Lent when I gave up beer.
Well, they say it's damn near water, right?
Excuse me. I made myself laugh. The Drive Time News Hour will have everything you expect. You know, we got Too Tall Tom Szymanski. Of course, CBS News opens it up here in just a couple of minutes. And Paul Juergens and Paul Lyons. And going to have some sports with Derek Hansen. And going to talk to Sean Doverstein over at the Hector International Airport about their expansion plans, which does not include a walkway, from the
ding parking lot.
Right, but that's okay. They got other plans. And so it's another thing I can look forward to seeing completed in my day. I say I don't want to die until I see this. Until the diversion is done.
Progress. Have you been south?
Yeah, and now this.
Yeah, now it's the airport. I like that.
We'll have Rusty Halverson in with Farm News, and we're going to have the guys from Legacy Wealth Management with Markets, another ride with Joel Heickamp. All the news you need and more for your drive home, because I try to find some stuff you don't need. I'm going to try to find that eyelash follicle mite story that I'll share with you.
Don't need, don't want. Curious to learn more.
You got them.
Yeah, we all do. Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry. They're little teeny guys. But I have that story, too. So it's not everything you need.
It's just things that you're going to hear. That's all going to be heard during the Drive Time News. Jack Sunday is going to be steering into Couch Potato Radio. Twins, they lost again today. Bottom 9. 2 runs. It was a 2-run homer. That's how the Cleveland Guardians won. So here we are. But they're back in action tomorrow night versus the Orioles. Pre-game at 6:30. I'm going to assume that first pitch is at 7:10, getting you into the holiday weekend. I'm going to be with you again tomorrow. We'll get you ready for your 4th of July celebrations, and we'll get you there in style. Your Rock Request Friday, probably a patriotic theme. My request, Hulk Hogan's theme song. That's my go-to every year for the 4th of July. So we'll have a little bit of fun. Plus, Eric Raff from FargoUnderground.com for those that are not leaving the metro area. I should tell you about what's going on downtown Fargo. Scott Brewer, Kyle Egger, Gone Outdoors, and all that. But that's tomorrow. That means this is it for me today. I'm Tyler Axis, your host here on Afternoons Live. I will be back tomorrow, 2 to 5. Until then, you drive safe, take care of yourselves. I'll check in tomorrow here on 790 AM, 94.1 and 104.7 FM, KFGO.